Two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackie and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
Write it down. You like writing things down. Write this down.
Write that down. I don't have a pencil. Well, remember that then.
It's stretch time here, boys. We got 6 weeks left. The Super Bowl is generally our, that's the end of our season. Not generally, it is the end of our Write That Down season. Mm-hmm. So you make your predictions between now and the Super Bowl, and they will count toward the 2023 standing. So I know, Judd, you said on the Purple Daily version that you felt kind of just mentally shaken.
I was uncertain.
You couldn't. Yeah, your confidence felt shaken. Now, you guys did do predictions on this show without me last week. Do you feel a little bit more confident on this edition of Write That Down?
I feel like saying you're confident is bad luck, so I'm going to say no. I feel like when you get cocky, the Write That Down gods bite you right in the behind. Mm. So, no, I don't feel. I feel like we're in that certain time when as Scott Hansen calls it, it's the witching hour of Write That Down.
The witching hour.
It's where wins become losses and losses become wins in Write That Down.
Is the witching hour, is it like the 2:00 hour, or is it the third? It's the 2:00 hour, right?
Noon games is 2:00-ish.
Yeah, it's like the 2:30-ish time, like the last like 5 minutes of the fourth quarter of the noon slate of games. Because obviously every game goes a little different, but yeah, 2:30-ish I think is your safe witching hour start time.
I love the witching hour, and
so this is the witching hour of Write That Down here in the next few weeks.
Exactly.
And here's how it works. This is the OG version. We have a football-centric version over on Purple Daily. On Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd, it's 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs on the show. And listeners, if you want to participate, like Declan's high school classmate, Matt and Lynn, is going to jump in here too. If you want to be a guest listener predictor, you can send Declan a message through the SKOR North app, and we will get you scheduled for some time in the coming weeks. So let's start with Judd here. A few things come off the board, and one that we could at least banter about at the end. You said Marc-Andre Fleury would pass Patrick Waugh for second all-time in wins by January 1st.
Could have tied it last night if his teammates had been able to score a goal or more than one.
You said this is one of our older predictions. I think you said this like 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago.
I'm shocked it didn't happen, to be honest.
You said Adrian Peterson will finish his career in the XFL. The XFL.
Which is now dead because it's been merged.
Let's say dead.
It's not dead. It's been Frankensteined.
Right, but the league is not the XFL,
right?
right?
No, that's why this is coming off the board.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is
the XFL still lives on in the UFL spirit.
The UFL, yeah.
Or the spirit of the XFL lives on in the UFL's body. I don't know.
We still have the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Yeah, we kept some of the names. So the USFL and the XFL merged. It's now the UFL, the United Football League. They kept their ESPN, ABC, and Fox partnerships.
Yeah.
And now they're just going to be one large entity. So there's your subdivision professional football lesson of the day. You did say Cole Kramer, Gophers quarterback. Did you hear he's going to get married? I'm not sure if you heard that on the broadcast. Recently married?
Yeah, and she's a nurse. I mean, it's a great story.
We had like a full Brent Musburger situation on our hands there. It was like every 5 seconds. Oh, let's look at that beautiful lady. Let's calm down a little bit.
First date Mario Kart. Just like, why are we giving all these weird
That guy went on and stocked there's some type of page now where you can like tell your story.
Yeah, it's on like my wedding. Yeah, like on my wedding website, there's like our story thing.
And you tell your story online?
Yeah, Gerson Rosas is featured on my wedding. His name is featured on my wedding website. He is not featured in the wedding, that's for sure. But he is featured on the wedding website. You guys are
getting married. He got married. Congratulations to everybody.
Yep.
And then you said Kirill Kaprizov would sit out one or more games before the new year. Declan declared that a bunt.
Yeah, that's a bunt.
It is correct. So this one doesn't come off the board, I don't think. I wanted to bring it to light because it's from a couple years ago. You said Mike Zimmer would give an interview with an outlet in which he criticized the decision to sign Cousins and criticize Rick Spielman. He did finally give an interview.
I feel like it's coming now. I feel like it's coming now.
Okay.
We're pulling
if he wants to get back in as a head coach, should he really be like throwing people under the bus from 2 years ago? Because that seems like his objective is he'd like to coach again, right?
Right. But let's say he doesn't, or let's say I feel like the more Mike talks, the more Mike can't help himself. So he's now opened the door of talking. But we could put an end date, I think, of opening week next season. How about that?
On this one?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I
can
feel
also,
like yeah.
He could backdoor his way into saying it, kind of like he did at the combine, basically, like, we got to be careful paying quarterbacks like I did in Minnesota. Like, he can kind of backdoor his way in criticizing the Cousins comment, too.
Okay.
Yeah, a backhanded sort of thing for sure. Okay, a lot of things came off the board for me here. I said the Twins would not sign an outside free agent in the month of December. They signed, is it Stalmont, right? Stalmont.
Yep, gosh, Stalmont.
Said the Twins would be credibly linked to Lucas Giolito. Between this one, I thought Rory was going to get, because Rory flip-flopped on like, oh, the Live Tour is great, actually. This is great. I thought he was going to get an 8-figure payment from the new golf entity. I've not seen that come down. I said by the end of the 2023 calendar year, either Falvey or Levine would not be with the Twins organization. Now, Levine was a finalist for the Red Sox job, right? Or he interviewed at least.
He talked. I think they contacted him. I don't know if he was a finalist.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. However, I did tell you guys that the Steelers would finish above 500 this season with 4 games to go. And that the Gophers would win the Quick Lane Bowl and dump liquid on PJ Fleck in celebration for a Joe Mauer first-row home run. Thank you. That's right. It was Gatorade or something.
Yep.
Quick Lane Bowl champions.
Not a Pop-Tart, not a big thing of mayonnaise. I mean, it could have been so many fun things.
Ugh. What do you dump for the Quick Lane Bowl? You dump motor oil on the coach?
Oh,
you know what? I'm
windshield wiper fluid?
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah, let's poison the head coach. Let's do it. Yeah.
Listeners, Brandon said Alabama would win the national championship in college football. John and his family, I can't remember which person from John's family, but said the Gophers would lose by at least a touchdown in the Quick Lane Bowl. And Dustin said the Twins' playoff losing streak, this should have come off the board long ago, would hit at least 19 games.
No faith.
And Declan, pretty good week here. We'll start with the bad. You said a wild player would net a hat trick by
hunting for home runs.
This last, write that down.
There's none left now, unfortunately. They're all hurt.
What, hat trickers?
Well, like, I mean, Kaprizov, Foligno, there's a bunch of guys out. Boldy,
step
I guess,
up.
would
Someone
be
needs
your
to
best.
step up and put the biscuit in the
we'll
basket.
talk about that on Judd's hockey show. We're going to talk about who's going to step up.
You said the Wolves would beat the Lakers in their first matchup, and Anthony Edwards would finish with more points than LeBron. I think it's a home run. You didn't know LeBron wasn't going to play in that game. It's like a Joe Mauer first row. We might be getting a little bit loosey-goosey with these home runs here, but I think we'll count that. And the Wolves will remain the top team in the Western Conference for the rest of 2023. They've held on to their lead these last few weeks. Pretty good. Mm-hmm. So with that, Judd sitting at 321 on the season. Declan 287, listeners 284, and I'm at 261. I still have a narrow home run lead with 11. Listeners and Judd both have 10. Declan with 9 home runs. So the home run race is anyone's game here. Declan leading all-time statistics track since 2018, a 361 average. Judd with 302 hits leads the total hit category. And listeners with 52 home runs lead that category. All right. Whew. A lengthy accountability session. All right, let's get Matt and Lynn in the mix here. So Matt and Declan went to high school together.
Hello. Hi. Yep.
Welcome in.
Went to St. Paul Central. I was following Declan's career since Central Morning News.
That's right.
Wow. What a career it's been. From high school to winning the quarterback cesspool challenge 12 years later.
Yep. And doing incredible work the entire time. Let me say, we found out that Declan needs a lot of affirmation. Unbelievable career.
So, Matt, what were you guys friends in high school? Were you acquaintances in high school? How would you characterize it?
Yeah, we were friends. Stuck together, I guess, since then. So,
okay,
kept in touch. Yeah.
And what was Declan like in high school? Did he ever get beat up? Was he a bully? Like, what was he like generally?
No, he was pretty popular, I thought. Yeah, a lot of friends. Won't get too into it, of course, but
I think we
Debauchery,
should pull back all the details.
Skipping classes.
we used to every year we would climb the big hill by Declan's parents' house. That was fun.
Yeah, I live. Remember you guys know the old ski jump on the east side of St. Paul, Mackie and Judd? Have you guys heard of that?
I just started skiing for the first time last week, so I'm hoping to make my way to that ski jump sometime soon.
So there used to be like a huge ski jump. If you go to the Devani's off White Bear and Suburban, there's actually a photo of people like jumping off it in the 20s, I think, like in the early 1900s. And I would throw a birthday
here we
party.
go now. Let's go down the hill. Up.
And we'd just climb this, like, no joke, like 70 to 80 degree angle hill. It is
treacherous,
hard as hell, but fun.
Wow. What a childhood. What's the most like illegal thing? No, I'm just kidding. Don't answer that question. All right. So, and introduce Lynn, if you would.
Sure. So this is my mom, Lynn. She really got me into Minnesota sports, specifically the Twins. So kind of coming out of the womb, I was a big Twins fan from day one.
Okay.
Not so much the other sports until, the Timberwolves and Wild, kind of the last few years, I've gotten more into them. And then in high school, I started working at the Metrodome. So,
oh wow, what was your first like Twins season? What year did you start working at the Metrodome?
I think it was 2009 because it was Favre's first year. It may have been the year before that, but definitely that was like my big first heartbreak, except for the 19 Twins losses.
Yeah, that would be a good year to be at the Metrodome, man. 2009 down the stretch, Twins, game 163, Brett Favre. We had Judd Zulgad, lead Vikings beat writer, was roaming around.
I was there for all
the
of it.
Metrodome at the time. So, all right, here's how this is. We're going to start with Matt and Lynn, and then over to Judd, Declan, back to me. We'll make 3 trips around the room. So the floor is yours, Matt and Lynn. What's your first prediction?
Sure, and I'll just let my mom give her Twins background because she's got a little bit more exciting backstory than I do.
Yeah. So anyway, it's fun to be on. I started listening to you guys this summer as the Twins were making their run, and you started the Twins version of the show, and I really, really enjoyed that. But anyway, and I also got a Christmas present.
Wow.
From Santa, so that was
stock
fun.
SKOR swag.
Yeah.
Great.
So anyways, kind of the lead in into my write it down is a little bit of my backstory of how I became a Twins fan.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Hibbing, Minnesota. So my first love was hockey. So I was all into hockey. Oops. I was going to shut this off.
That's Derek Falvey calling Lynn right
It's
now.
a spam. It's a
What should I do? Should I sign someone? She's like, no.
Yeah. So
We're
anyway,
about to trade for Mike Trout. What should we do?
Started off being a hockey fan, and then I started following basketball when my high school friend Kevin McHale became a Boston Celtic player. So I was into basketball for quite a while. And then I had only been to 2 Twins games. One in 1964, my dad took me to the Mets to see the Yankees and the Twins play.
Yeah.
And my biggest memory of that is eating the chocolate malt cup. Then I went to visit a girlfriend in California, and her dad had said that we should check out this new Twin center fielder, Kirby Puckett. Yeah. And so she took me to the Padres Stadium, and we were literally the only 2 people in the outfield kind of heckling Kirby. So those are my only 2 Twins games. I wasn't a Twins fan. And then out of the blue, a vendor had invited me to game 1 of the 1987 World Series. Yeah. I sat in the lower deck.
Oh, those are the tickets right there?
These are the tickets.
Oh, that's great.
Lower deck tickets cost $40 back in 87. And it's embarrassing how dumb I was. Really, I knew Kirby Puckett and maybe Kent Herbeck. That was about it. But I was hooked. It was the most exciting, fun thing I had ever been to. And I had seen my high school hockey team win the state championship and all sorts of other exciting things happen. But I was hooked on the Twins. And I became a lifelong fan after that. I pretty much have gone to all the playoff games. Here's my 87 tickets.
So you went to all those home games in 87?
Right. And I got in on the lottery, buying the tickets through the lottery.
Okay.
I had my mom sign up and I signed up and my mom got them and she called and said, they called me and, they said I could buy the tickets. I'm like, get the tickets, Mom.
Yes.
Get the tickets. So, but these were outfield tickets, $25 each.
Yeah.
I thought it was
amazing.
so much money. But anyway.
That's a great, I love it. So you got hooked 1987 and then you endured. So you got the 2 championships and then you endured what Judd has endured too, which is just decades of playoff failure.
And I got Homer Hankies up the wazoo from all the years we lost, dragged Matt to all the playoff games, had our hearts broken. So anyway, that's my history of becoming a Twins fan.
That's awesome.
So the reason why I'm giving the history because my write it down is going to be despite a player having not fully lived up to his potential, he is still one of the most natural athletes that St. Paul has ever produced. And I'm going to give it up for this guy.
Oh, nice.
Joe.
From the
Yeah.
And write it down that I predict on January 23rd, the Baseball Hall of Fame will announce that with the number of votes between 76 and 79.5%, just squeaking in on his first time being eligible, that Joe Mauer will be a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame.
There it is. Wow.
That's awesome.
Lynn coming in.
Yep. Way to go.
For a second there, I thought Joe Mauer was going to be the third person on camera there. He's just going to
There's Joe. Here's Joe right here.
Vest.
Little bobblehead Joe getting into the Hall of Fame.
And this is the necklace I wore when we finally broke the jinx this year.
Finally,
Keep wearing it.
So Lynn's got Joe Mauer, first ballot Hall of Famer with her first prediction.
Yeah,
That's great stuff.
And squeaking in 76 to
I like it.
79.5%.
Okay. So it could be a bad beat. Could be a bad beat if he gets in, with like 80% or something. But we'll cross that bridge. We come.
Yeah, I'm going to say squeaking in.
Okay.
Right.
So
Probably
awesome stuff, Lynn. Appreciate your just your prediction and the story of your history as a Twins fan. Judd, what is your first prediction, sir?
Right.
My first prediction is Monday night. Michigan will win the NCAA football championship. Michigan over Washington on Monday night.
Okay. Off the record, do you think it's going to be a close game? Do you think Jim Harbaugh? Do you think he leaves right after? Do you think he has a Chargers hat that he puts on in the post-game press conference? Wait, some more context here.
Off the record, I think it should be a close game. Yeah, I certainly hope so because the semifinals were great. They were absolutely fantastic. But I think Michigan probably wins. Off the record, probably wins by, let's say, 3 points or so. I'm hoping it's close. I think Washington's good enough to keep it close.
Washington plays. They're like the Vikings of college football. If the Vikings won all of their close games, even against the best teams, they've won like 7 or 8 close games against really good teams this season.
Write it down. You like writing.
That's your
things
club,
down?
Mackie. You were there for a year.
UW? No, I do. I can't decide. I like Jim Harbaugh. I feel like.
Do you?
I do like Jim Harbaugh. Well, I mean, you guys heard me on the Purple Daily episode today, so.
Yeah, I don't question you.
But I also like UW because we lived out there for a couple of years, so we'll see. Probably rooting for UW in that game. Declan, what's your first prediction?
Write it down. You like
I'll make a
writing things
Wolves
down?
one to start here. I'm actually going to the game tonight as a fan. So write this down. He's had a couple rough games recently, but I think my guy, Jaden McDaniels, bounces back. So write it down. Jaden McDaniels will have at least 15 points tonight against the Pelicans.
Okay.
Write it down.
And hopefully won't get ejected or anything.
You got to control that temper. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's got to calm down just a little bit. Okay.
Write it down. You like
Write this
writing
down.
things down?
Speaking of Jim Harbaugh, my guy, Jim Harbaugh. So it's a 2-part prediction here. Jim Harbaugh will wind up, I'll say this. Jim Harbaugh will coach in the NFL playoffs next playoff season. So the 2024 NFL season, Jim Harbaugh will coach in the playoffs, the NFL playoffs. I'll leave it. There could be other paths for that to happen. I think the most likely is he takes the Chargers job next week off the record.
But you're not going to tell us what team. Okay.
Yeah. I could see other things happening too.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, back to Matt and Lynn.
Hey, so a little backstory on me. I went to the University of Iowa, so I'm going to do kind of 2 Iowa-themed write this downs with mine. I've got my, let's see if I can turn all the way around.
Oh, Luka Garza. Let's go.
Garza.
Got the Garza jersey, which
G League legend, Luka Garza.
Great eyebrows, man. Greatest eyebrows in sports right now, as far as
he's got the whole face. He kind of
yeah.
Anyway, you guys coined a term the other week, Cigarza games, when he on flagrant howls. I like the term Garzabage time. So
That's good.
I'm gonna make a prediction that before next week's write this down, there will be some Garzabage time, and he will score at least 1 field goal.
Let's go. Yeah, Kyle and I were trying to come up with a name for when the Wolves put Garza in at the end, and it's usually the Wolves are up by like 20. There's been a couple where they've been down, and he gets garbage time, Garzabage time, as we're pointing it here.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
His contractual status means he can't dress for every game as a backup, right?
Yes,
because he's in street clothes a lot. So there's the G League clause or whatever it is. All right. Write this down. The Minnesota, the new unnamed, because no teams in this league have a name, PWHL team will debut tonight against Boston, but they're going to play Montreal on Saturday at the X, okay? They will win their home debut over Montreal on Saturday, and Taylor Heisey, the former golfer, will have at least 1 goal.
Okay.
She was their top pick. She is a very good player. So the PWHL team playing Saturday against the new Montreal team, Minnesota will win that game, and Taylor Heisey will have at least 1 goal.
Are those games televised anywhere or available to
Bally's.
watch? Bally's?
Bally's is carrying them all.
Okay.
Until
Bally's
the screen
away.
goes until the screen goes blank, or they can't stream them, or anything else might happen.
Not gonna make our payment anymore.
Write this down.
Huh? All right, Declan.
All right, I have a couple Twins predictions. I'll start with this one. I was trying to speak something into existence with this damn baseball team. The Twins will acquire an established starting pitcher by next week's write that down. Established being, let's call it 300 career innings.
Oh, this is setting up for an amazing bad beat.
It is.
I love this.
I didn't know where I should go because it's some SOB is going to have 298 coming here, and I'm gonna lose a point. But they will acquire an established starting pitcher.
So 300 innings is the cutoff. Okay.
God, I know I'll get burned in this, but yeah.
Oh, 297.
I'm not saying anything.
That's great. All right. It's the life of
Write this down.
playing Write That Down every week. Write this down. Let's go with this one. So Russell Wilson's gone from the Broncos. 100%, right? And he has a contract with offset language. So he could, in theory, go sign pretty much anywhere for close to league minimum. And anything he signs for would just cut into the offset. Like it would only partially offset. Like, what am I trying to say? If the Broncos are going to pay 30 or whatever it is, he signs for $1 million. He still gets 30. The Broncos pay 29, if that makes sense. So he can pretty much sign anywhere. I could see him in Pittsburgh. Little playground football, running around. George Pickens as the YOLO receiver, running down the field. So I'm going to be specific and say Russell Wilson will be a Pittsburgh Steeler by week 1 of the 2024 NFL season.
All right.
Write it down.
Write this down.
Okay, back over to Matt and Lynn for your third and final prediction.
Sounds good. So for my final prediction, I will head back down to Iowa. So I'm kind of stretching the name of the show here, Iowa Sports. Caitlin Clark had 41 points in the March Madness tournament last year. So write this down. In either March Madness or in the Big Ten tournament, Caitlin Clark will score at least 42 points or more.
Yeah. Yep, that was all over the highlights last night. She's probably the most must-see college athlete right now in terms of like the attendance they put up, and it's pretty crazy. So
she going pro? Do you think?
I think she might stick around one more year, but
okay.
I see different stuff every day on that. So we'll see. She's making a lot with the NL or NIL money.
NIL, yeah. She definitely would make a lot more in NIL money than a WNBA salary. The question would be, could she go play overseas somewhere too? Because they make more money. Women's basketball players make more money in Europe and overseas, at least like as of a couple of years ago. So anyways, hey, great work here. Matt and Lynn, since you both have this life-changing platform right now, is there anyone you'd like to thank that helped bring you to this pinnacle moment?
Well, I'd like to thank my mom and my girlfriend for putting up with you guys every day. Pretty much always have you on. So, and you guys, of course, giving me a good off-season content during the Vikings off-season. I'd very much appreciate that. I don't know, Mom.
Yeah, so I want to thank Declan because I used to watch the Central News too. So it's kind of fun seeing him stick with a passion and have it turn into a career. I think that's really cool, and that happens to young people. But I just want to thank you guys for doing the Twins last year, and I want to encourage you to continue a Twins show next year, because I would. Oh, yeah. You'll have at least one watcher if you do that. Awesome. Hopefully a lot more.
No, we are 100% committed to the SKOR North Twin Show, and yeah, if people haven't checked it out yet, Apple, Spotify, you can find it, and then on the SKOR North YouTube channel, the SKOR North Twin Show. We brought it back in July last year, and it was so much fun doing those post-game shows during that playoff run and just being at Target Field. So we'll see what they need to add some players here. They've lost a bunch of players. Need to fill the cupboards, but we'll see what happens. Matt and Lynn, thank you both for joining us. Good luck with your predictions.
Thank you.
All right. Before we make our final predictions here, a shout out to our friends at Zero Res. Zero Res is here to help you deep clean your home. You had a bunch of company over during the holidays, people tracking in mud, snow, whatever it is, spilling stuff on your carpets, your upholstery. That's where Zero Res comes in. There's no better way to deep clean your house than with Zero Res, which has a 4.9 rating out of 5 on Google with 17,000 reviews. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $119 if you ask for the SKOR North special. You have to specifically ask for the SKOR North special at 9520-RES or ZeroResMinnesota.com. That's 9520-RES or ZeroResMinnesota.com. Spell it forward or backward, it spells the same. Zero Res. Okay.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Judd, third and final.
All right, write this down. And I have a prediction about this guy, but it's not this specific, so I'm going to double down because of the circumstances. With Philip Gustafson injured, Jesper Wallstedt will make his Wild debut in goal before February 1st. So at some point this month, I think Gustafson's going to be out for a while. Zane McIntyre, the backup, is just a guy. Like, he is just a backup. And Marc-Andre Fleury becomes the de facto top goaltender, but he's 39 and he's not meant to play as much as they might have to play him. He's
too old.
Too old. So Jesper Wallstedt, come on down, or I should say come on up from Des Moines. He will make his Wild debut in goal before the end of the month.
Okay. All right.
Write this down.
Okay.
All right, another Twins prediction. I guess this is a little bit of a hedge on the first one because it could actually hedge a little bit if I get burned on the dang innings count. But write this down. The Twins will acquire 2 new players to their 26-man roster by month's end.
Okay. Yeah.
So they will acquire 2 new players, and you guys tell me if this is okay. But like reports of the move. So like let's say Passan tweets on the 30th that, hey, they're acquiring so-and-so. But the transactional thing doesn't take place because, transactions and physicals are weird.
Yeah, you can just say reported. It'll be reported trans. I'm cool with that.
Okay, cool.
Judd, you want to fight that?
No. Now that you just gave him the out, now that you said it, and we didn't just sit on this.
No, he asked.
I asked.
I know he asked
because you guys could have said no.
I was going to say that it's a gamble.
Okay, but if I come to you and I said this, this happened to me in a parking lot one time, Stubborn Herbs. I went to Stubborn Herbs. So I park in a spot that said, I went to Stubborn Herbs. I park in a spot that said Domino's Pizza parking.
That's a very tight lot.
I get out of my car and I ask the parking lot attendant. I said, "Hey, I'm going to jump into Stubbs for like a half hour. Can I park here?" And the guy says, "Sure. No problem at all." He's watching the parking lot, right? Okay, thank you, sir. Sounds good. I go in. What does he do? Immediately calls the tow truck and has me towed.
Okay. I'm
That's
sorry.
BS. Now, if I get out of my car and I walk into Stubbs and he sees it happen and he calls the tow truck, that's on me because I didn't clarify. Declan was clarifying here. Judd was the tow truck guy, basically saying.
Well, now Declan's going to tell you that you were wrong, so I want to hear this.
You were playing with fire there. Of course he wants to tow your car, dude. He wants to tow your car.
In retrospect, yes.
Hey, it's like asking, can I crack one open as I drive by this officer? Sure, go for it. Like, yeah.
It's not like you got your car, let's say, repossessed in this instance.
No, that would never happen to anyone in a work parking lot.
That's not possible. Oh my God.
Okay, third and final prediction.
Write this down.
Maybe old Macadac will sit at the head of the table. Oh God. Here's
what do you got here?
I got my WrestleMania 6 hat on today. I'm ready to make a wrestling prediction. I don't know when the match is going to happen, but The Rock is going to face Roman Reigns, it sounds like. Now, there's some speculation it could happen at Elimination Chamber in Australia, which is a huge stadium. I don't know. I don't know when it's going to happen.
But
when
it
happens,
burn that there.
Yeah, but
it is a huge stadium.
But so I'll give you my prediction and I'll tell you my logic. Roman Reigns will beat The Rock in their match.
Okay.
When they wrestle each other. If you're going to have Roman Reigns beat The Rock, I don't think you're going to have it happen at WrestleMania. Because I think this is the WrestleMania where you have Roman finally lose, and it would be to Cody. So I could see them burning this once-in-a-lifetime match at the premium live event or pay-per-view before WrestleMania. It would be like holding a Super Bowl a few days beforehand, essentially. Like a dream Super Bowl. And then, we'll have an anticlimactic actual Super Bowl. But I think that's where it's at. So the Roman Reigns will beat The Rock is my prediction.
So I realize this is worth a ton, but does Dwayne Johnson's beyond rich, right? Like, I mean, this man is filthy rich, and he's super smart. So what's the incentive here? Just the fun of it?
Well, what's the incentive to do anything if you're worth $1 billion?
But that's what I'm saying. But I mean, this is actually, it's not like acting. This is a like, you can get hurt. It hurts to wrestle. I'm just saying, is the end game just because he's sort of bored?
He'll make a few $1 million doing it, which obviously, to your point, doesn't really matter.
Right.
They're related too.
They're related, but most importantly, he loves wrestling. Like it was his first success in his career, and he comes back every once in a while. But like, you've opened up an existential question, I think, of why even walk outside and risk getting like clipped by a scooter on the sidewalk if you're worth $1 billion. If you're worth $1 billion, is anything worth it? Or
I feel like wrestling though is like being assured of being clipped by the scooter. Like, it's a tough, and I know I hear it set up now. I mean, in my day, it was all real.
He's not going to do like a moonsault onto the
that's what I'm
table.
Asking. But that's what I'm asking. Like, how far? I'm just curious about it's sort of like going back and playing football after you retire.
Not really, because in football, someone could actually hurt you.
Yeah.
In wrestling,
that's what I'm asking.
You can condition and get yourself. I will say he was and I don't know if it was nerves, but he was very winded after the whole Jinder Mahal thing and him dropping the like. I was like, and everyone else noticed that too. I wasn't the only one. Like, why was he so winded after that? And if he's winded after a promo and like a 30-second toss him around the ring thing, can he go, to Judd's point, can he go the 20? Yes, I think rhetorically is yes, he can go the 25 minutes match, but it was interesting.
What's amazing is he does work out clearly like 4 hours a day at 3:00 in the morning, and he's posting on Instagram all the time. But I don't know that he's doing like ring work cardio that you would need. So he'll have to train his ass off for 3 months or so. Because he legitimately was gassed after like 45 seconds.
Yeah. It could be even like a SummerSlam setup. This could be a long build.
Oh,
storytelling.
Okay.
Storytelling.
And when are we finally going to get the much anticipated WrestleMania at US Bank Stadium?
They should announce that within the coming months because they haven't announced next year's location yet. So I feel they usually announce it on Hall of Fame night or something. Okay. I think they typically announce the WrestleMania week of the next year's location, typically.
So within the next like 2 months, 3 months, we should know.
Okay.
We should know.
All right.
And then we'll be dragging Judd out to both nights of that WrestleMania. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, and the parties will be great. I can't wait for the parties.
It'll be great. Can't wait.
Single-handedly the most exciting event. The Super Bowl has nothing on this to me. This is.
Have you been to a WrestleMania?
What's that?
Have you been to a WrestleMania before?
No, never.
Been to one, and it was
So hold on a
it was
Super Bowl.
everything and more.
Can I just ask a quick question, and I believe clear up something? So at the end of on December 31st, 2024, how are you going to explain to your by then lovely wife that the biggest event of the year was possibly not your wedding in July?
Well, she knows.
WrestleMania.
Nope, she knows. She's
Okay.
my fiance is actually a wrestling fan. To a degree.
Cool. Okay.
She
I
knows.
was going to say.
There was a jaw-dropping moment on our second date when she just kind of randomly threw in a Seth Rollins reference, and I think that's when I knew. I was like, "Oh my God, a woman just
so
made a
in love.
Seth Rollins reference, and I might be in love already on the second date." So,
As she walks down the aisle, could there
Yeah.
be? Could there be?
Oh my God!
burn it down.
Oh God! That's Seth
Oh
Rollins
my
music.
God, that'd be hilarious. Yeah, she'd really like
Burn
that.
it down. You would just be like, "Yep, that's fair. That's totally fair." Okay, sounds good. All right, those are your write that down predictions. Your accountability session here on Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd.